Limitless methods. Focus. When can I learn from one kind when I'm most focused? How can I increase my ability to concentrate? How do I limit my distractions and calm my busy mind? In many cases, it's a matter of focus. This happened because you're able to train your focus on the task at hand, get right on the task, and then not let anything distract you from the task. So, while the most of us have only so much ability to maintain focus, simply, I think, it's because we're never taught to do so. Going back to our magnifying glass analogy, maybe what we really see isn't that this person is much more intelligent than most other people. Maybe the person is just more focused. Focus allows us to train our brain power on particular task to burn through that task. It's amazing what it can accomplish when we are focused. Conversely, when we are less focused, we are less likely to accomplish what we truly want to do because we are just not as committed, both emotionally and physically, to doing it. The primary enemy to focus is distraction. Rate your current level of concentration from 0 to 10. Now, rate your desire to increase this level. Your concentration is like a muscle. You can train to become stronger with the practice. Practicing concentration. Concentration is at the crux of human success in an endeavor. If you can't concentrate, you can manifest. As a saying, is that concentration is a critical component of anything you want to accomplish. Points out that concentration is like a muscle that gets stronger the more you exercise it. Concentration is something you can learn and something you can practice to get better at. However, what most of us practice instead is distraction. We allow our minds to jump from dot to dot, often using technology to help us practice distraction. I define concentration as my ability to keep my awareness on the thing for an extended period of time. Every time my concentration drifts, I use my willpower to bring my awareness back. It isn't your mind that's moving, it's your awareness. In order to excel at concentration, you need to make yourself keep that ball of light to train on the spot in your mind for an extended period. This won't be easy at first, but a conscious effort to exercise your willpower in this way is likely to lead to impressive results. If you make the commitment to practice concentration an hour or so a day, it will soon become a second nature. Whenever possible, try to do one thing at a time. When I talked a bit about multitasking already, but for now, just remember that multitasking is grossly inefficient way to get anything done. By doing one thing at a time, your concentration muscle will become incredibly strong, and your focus will reach limitless levels. Another key to boost your concentration is decluttering your environment. That's true. In layperson's terms, what this means is that physical clutter in your surrounding competes for your attention, which results in a decreased performance and increased anxiety and stress levels. So, if you want to become a master at concentration, divest yourself in a position for distraction whenever concentration is critical. If you are working on your computer, shut down every application and every open tab other than the ones you absolutely need to perform the task at hand. Limit the number of items in your physical workplace as well. Calming your busy mind. Yet precisely because of this, it's more important than ever to find ways to bring calm to your mind. You might not even realize it, but all the input you're getting on any given days is causing you a considerable amount of stress. Anxious thoughts can overwhelm you, making it difficult to make decisions and take action to deal with whatever issue bothers you. Anxiety can also lead to overthinking, which makes you more anxious, which leads to more overthinking, and so on. How can you get out of your vicious cycle? Repressing anxious thoughts won't work. Thought will just pop up again, sometimes with more intensity. The anterior cingulate cortex, which is involved in focus. Among people going through training exercises to increase attention, their ACCs grow thicker. Okay, I see. Tools like meditation, yoga, and certain martial arts can be tremendously valuable in helping you calm your busy mind. Breathe. Developed in a breathing tool that is called the 478 method. It's very possible to reason this is happening because I don't know, it is just kind of caffeine spike. I don't know, I feel like this kind of, my body is kind of shallow. I don't know why. Suddenly just like that. Okay. So anyways, it's not a big deal. It is what it is. Okay, it's very possible the reason this is happening because there's something that you need to do that you've been avoiding doing. If that's the case, do a little 478 breathing, deal with a stressful task, and then you can get back to everything else you want to do with increased focus. They're relatively easy to do. But saying or worry about that at 4:15 better work might. Unlimiting your focus is the key to unleashing your superpower. Anti-procrastination. Study. If I'm going to be a lifelong student, how can I optimize my study time? This man had seemed entirely calm, but with that question, his voice became more animated. Yes, I knew I could do this. Because with the competence comes with confidence. At the first, my voice. Because my breathing, I think, I cleaned my floor right before reading this book. That's why it feels like a little bit I have moved, right? So that's why it's just because I don't know blood circulation or oxygen intake. I'm not sure, but it's kind of hard to breathe. And then it's not hard, but it's just my breathing is kind of shallow. So, but it's not a big deal, okay? The first, known as unconscious incompetence, is when you don't know what you don't know. For example, you might not even be aware of the fact that something is just speed reading exists. So you are also not aware that you are currently not capable of doing it. The third level is conscious competence. What this means is that you are aware of a skill and have a capacity to perform that skill, but only when you actively put your mind to it. You can do it, but it tastes worse. Similarly, at this stage, for other activities, like typing or driving, you can do it, but it requires your conscious attention. The fourth level, the only way, the one and your lifelong learner is seeking is unconscious competence. Unconscious competence, yes. In this case, you know how to perform a skill, and it's in second nature to you. With the speed reading, you would reach the point of unconscious competence, and this simply becomes the way you read. You're not making yourself to read faster, you're just not doing so. You're typing or driving with your deliberate attention. Now the key to get from conscious competence to unconscious competence is just obvious. It's a practice. Practice makes progress. Practice makes progress. Oh, beautiful. Practice makes progress. Practice makes progress. Oh, beautiful expression. Practice makes progress. I would add the first level, the true mastery. Here, true mastery, true mastery. Yeah, true elite. True mastery. Yeah, I think that's good. True mastery. This is a step beyond unconscious competence where it's a secondary step performance skill at an elite level. This is the level of being limitless. If you are going to be a master, you're going to need to study like a hero. The most successful people in the world are lifelong students. That means they're continually learning new skills, keeping up with the latest in their chosen fields, and staying apprised of what other fields might be able to offer them. It just became so burdensome. Indicates that cramming leads to many unwanted side effects, including impaired mental function, sleep deprivation, impairs learning. Oh, I think we should read in super focus, right? Oh, okay, I should just find that book. I'm going to read that book. I think I read that book like 2 years ago. Oh, I'm going to read the Grit as well. Okay. That's good. Okay, speed repetition is simply but highly effective because it deliberately hacks the way your brain works. Okay. Your posture controls the state of your mind. Sit as if you're about to learn the most crucial life-changing information. Do you just have to move? If you did, then notice how you feel more focused after you change your posture. When you sit straight, it also facilitates breathing and the circulation of necessary oxygen to your brain and the rest of your body. If you're slumped over, it could stifle the breathing process and make you tired. Now sit up straight and smile. How much better you feel? Peaceful, so calm. I love this time. Okay, and I feel so grateful as well. Okay, the scent of rosemary has been shown to improve memory. Peppermint and lemon promotes concentration. The olfactory bulb has direct connection to the two brain areas that are strongly implicated in emotion and the memory. The amygdala and hippocampus. Amygdala and hippocampus, of course. Interestingly, visual, auditory, sound, and the tactile touch information do not pass through these brain areas. This may be why olfaction more than any other senses, is so successful at triggering emotions and memories. What this shows is that smell is an enormously important yet underused memory tool. Baroque music such as composed by Bach, Handel, or Talman, that is 50 to 80 beats per minute, creates an atmosphere of focus that leads students into deep concentration and alpha brainwave state. Okay? Learning vocabulary, memorizing facts, or reading to distant music is highly effective. Okay? But it was not a big deal. I tried, but it was not a big deal for me. If you're going to unlimit your learning, you're going to want to make sure your listening skills are fully tuned up. There is a very strong connection between listening and learning, and more than a quarter of us are auditory learners, meaning that the primary way in which we learn is through hearing something. While listening is the core of most of our communications, the average adult listens nearly twice as much as he or she talks. Most people stink at it. Here's one typical result, and afterward reflect on what the speaker said. Paraphrase it in your mind and imagine yourself teaching it to someone else. Doing so will solidify it in your mind. First off, be sure that you understand the purpose of taking these notes. By being clear on your intention with your notes, you're able to distinguish between information that is relevant to you and information that is not. Once you're clear on your goals, taking an active approach to note taking, listen with the intention of getting exactly what you need and write your notes in ways that you will benefit your recall later. Equally important is making sure that you use your own words whenever possible. When you use your own words in your notes, you begin to process the information, and that greatly enhances learning. Therefore, it is important to actually hear what others are saying. Take a note of what's being emphasized. Make sure you're understanding the points the speaker is making, and if your opportunity is available, ask questions. While you are taking notes, use a method that I call capture and create. On the left side of the paper, you are capturing. You are taking notes. On the right side, you are creating. You are making notes. You are writing your impression of what you are capturing. How can I use this? Why must I use this? When will I use this? After your note-taking session is over, review your notes immediately. This will help you retain the information much more effectively than if you don't read your notes in a few days. As an added benefit, you'll be able to supplement your notes with anything you might have missed while you're taking them, because the information will still be fresh in your mind. Think about what you are hoping to retain most from this session. Identify what is most important in the context of your goal. Prioritize the information that is most valuable to you. Immediately access how much of it you retained. Find a music playlist that works for you. What can I do to improve my memory right away? Do I keep a big chunk of information in my memory? How can I easily access this information when I need it? What I need or when I need it? Okay, when I need it, right? Memory is arguably the most important part of the learning process. If you could not remember, then you could not learn anything. There is no knowledge without memory. Your memory is also one of your greatest assets. It supports you in every area of your life. I challenge you to do anything without utilizing your memory. There is no such thing as good memory or bad memory. There is only trained memory and untrained memory. Why is memory so important if you're going to unlimit yourself? Because your memory serves as a foundation for every action you take now and every one you will take in the future. Memorization is discipline for the mind, much needed in the age when so many minds are lazy, distracted, have a little to think about, or think slowly. Memorization helps us train the mind to focus and be industrious. No, you can't always Google it. Sometimes you don't have to access the internet. And not everything of the important is on the web. And a great deal of irrelevant trash will accompany any search. Nor is looking at material helpful under such situations as when you learn to use foreign language, must write and speak extemporaneously. Extemporaneously, or wish to be an expert. Memorization creates the repertoire of what we think about. Nobody can think in a vacuum of information. To be an expert in any field requires knowledge that you already have. We think with ideas held in working memory. which can only access at high speed from the brain's stored memory. Understanding is nourished by information you hold and working memory as you think. Without such knowledge, we have a mind full of mush. The exercise of memory develops learning and memory schema that promote improved ability to learn. The more you remember, the more you can learn. It's more like a muscle, and that the more you train it, the stronger it gets, and the more you can store. M is for motivation. The simple fact is that we are considerably more likely to remember things that we motivated to remember. If someone says to you, hey, remember our call tomorrow, and hey, if you remember our call tomorrow, I'll give you $5,000. You're overwhelmingly more likely to remember something when you have a strong motivation to do so. So if you want to train yourself to have a strong memory, give yourself a strong motivation to do so. The issue isn't retention but rather attention. If you are serious about boosting your memory, condition yourself to be truly present in any situation where you want to remember something. What the Baker paradox illustrates for us is that creating associations for ourselves is like to boost our memories dramatically. The exercises in the following pages are tools along these lines that I have found particularly effective. In the traditional education system, as you may be aware, we turned your listening to a story. Remember that there is no such thing as a good memory or a bad memory, only a trained memory or untrained memory. Employing this tool regularly will give you the kind of training that you can access in all kinds of situations. The secret of good memory is attention, and attention to a subject depends upon our interest to it. We rarely forget that, which has made a deep impression on our minds. You will have greater results and satisfaction that comes from involvement and the personal awareness. Learning passive is weak, active learning is strong. Your visual memory is very powerful. You saw pictures of them. This is how your mind thinks. If you doubt this, then ask yourself, do you frequently find yourself dreaming in words? Probably not. Remember, a picture is worth 1,000 words. This is the key to memory and all of learning. In order to learn any new pieces of information, it must be associated with something you already knew. Your mind is constantly making countless associations every minute, most of them without your conscious awareness. This is how you learn. Do you have a song that reminds you of the special person? The memories and association. Do you have a smell that reminds you of the time in your childhood? That memory is an association. Why not use this information and make associations consciously to learn more effectively? Adding emotion makes something memorable. Information by itself is forgettable, but information combined with emotion becomes a long-term memory. This is the part of imagination. This is part of your mind. Let's try it again. With this story, and it doesn't matter if the story makes not much sense. What's important is that you provide some kind of imaginative detail for all the words you listed. Remember, the more emotionally exaggerated they are, the better you will recall. There's really no way to unlimit yourself without having a well-trained memory. And in many of these cases, it's critical that you'll be able to do this without having any notes in front of you. A time-honored technique for making their presentations with notes. And when I say this are time-honored, I mean this is quite literally. Identify the 10 major talking points from your presentation. These can be keywords or phrases or perhaps quotations that you want to incorporate. Now imagine a place that you know well. This can be a part of your home, a street that you walk often a nearby park, or anything else with which you have a great deal of familiarity and that you can easily recall vividly. Now consider paths during that location. Identify 10 spots in the room you can quickly see in your mind. Once you've picked out of your 10 locations, assigning a major talking point to each of those locations. Be sure to make the order of your talking points match the order in which you walk through the room. Now practice your presentation using your walk through the location as a tool for remembering each of the primary messages in the presentation. Each component of the presentation should come to you as you need it. With practice, you should find it possible for you to access large chunks of information without referring to your notes. Your recall will improve dramatically, and your speeches and the reports will seem more natural. You can employ this approach whenever you need it to memorize in bulk. Upon a case of your not being attentive in the moment, believing that you are going to be able to doing this is going to take some practice. When you hear a person's name of the first name, say it back. During the course of your conversation with this person, use their name. Vision is an incredibly powerful memory tool. Vocabulary is one of the cornerstones of learning. To remember the meaning of words is easy. Okay, I've used these examples and better introduce you to the basics. Build upon them and understand their significance. You can use these skills for practically anything. These systems are both flexible and universal. Think about the ways to improve yourself with greater motivation, less influenced by distraction. Okay, I've done, and I feel a little bit tired, and then I should stop here for reading English version of books. Okay, good job, Irene.